Hey guys, in this tutorial I'm going to be showing how to create a simple respawn system. Now this won't be covering everything, but I will show you guys the basics of how to set one up if you're looking to create a respawn system for any game you might be making. So for my game, I'm getting one issue with the raycast. So after my player dies and he respawns at a different location, it'll still be calling what my previous click was, and it will have a slight issue with that. So hopefully in the future I can figure it out, but you can use this for any other game. We're just going to be pretty much editing the teleport code a little bit, but I'm just going to be showing pretty much the basics of how to create one. So what I did was go into player stats, and I added in a simple thing for the player death. So if our current HP is less than or equal to 0, we want it to keep equaling 0 so it doesn't go above once we die. And you'd probably want to add in a couple of other things too, so there's no possible way that the player can regain health and come back to life or anything like that. So you would probably want to set something up for isDead equals true. We're going to be putting this in a bunch of different places. It would probably be best to do isDead equals true and pretty much confine everything in here to that if statement. So everything in the update function can't be called if you don't need it to be, or if you don't want certain things to be called during that time. So yeah, so if our character dies, or if it's less than or equal to 0, yeah, we want to set it. We want to say isDead equals true, and we want to start our respawn function. So down here I created a simple respawn function and did yield wait for seconds and 5. Here you can actually put in a different variable. If your character had a certain type of armor that maybe reduced the time cut in half or something like that, like a special item, you can adjust that. Just do like, yeah, divided by 2 or whatever you want to do for the respawn time. And here I did if team equals 1. Since my game is going to be a multiplayer game with 2 different teams, I want to set it up to make sure that they're on a certain team. I wouldn't want one team member spawning in another team's base and vice versa. It would screw everything up. So at the beginning of the match, it will assign each person a certain team, or each player. And yeah, so we're going to be referencing off spawn node, which I probably should create like spawn node 1 or spawn node 2, just to keep track of where that's at. And so yeah, it'll wait for 5 seconds currently. After that's up, it'll call this code, so it'll respawn our player at the base or wherever we want. I just have my node in a random spot. And then isDead equals to false. So our player will no longer be dead. They can start moving again, so everything will be functioning correctly. And yeah, and then current HP we want to equal to max HP, because we don't want them to have 0 health anymore. We want to reset it back to the maximum amount of health that they have. So in here you might want to do something for current mana as well if you wanted to. Like, I'll probably just go and put that in there. I believe that's how I have it spelled. So yeah, we'll just reset both of those. And yeah, that's the basics for that. So in click to move, what I did was I went in here and I was messing with if player stats, because I made a static variable for isDead in a boolean. Player stats.isDead equals false. We can click and move our player. And for this, I want to go and close off that bit of code. And I don't know if that will be affected or not. Sorry if this code is really sloppy at the moment. But yeah, because what I want to do is I want to make the audio go down to 0 if we're not moving. because before, when I set it up, the audio would keep playing until the respawn, so I want to leave that out of this code. Where pretty much everything in here will be blocked off and won't be able to be called unless you are alive. So that's all saved. I think that's the basics. Another thing I did was create a simple node where we're going to be spawning at, and on my player I threw that node onto, or that game object node onto spawn node. So this is where we're going to be spawning at. And I also created a little box, and I made it just a random thing, so when the player collides with it, it's a trigger, so it'll reduce its health just for testing purposes right now. So this might take a little while, but we can just run over this a bunch of times until our player dies and show you what happens. It's almost dead. Ah, he died. So we try clicking everywhere, he doesn't do anything. We'll look down here, and he respawns. Now that's the one issue I'm having right now. He kind of jumps around, and I think that's because when he respawned, the click location will be somewhere up here. So like my very last click, it'll still save it, and if the player never made it to that location, it'll keep wanting to walk towards it. And for some reason the player gets stuck here for a little bit as well. But if you try using that code in any other game, like our previous game that we used, like teleport and such, it shouldn't give you guys any issues if you have that isDead code set up along with the different keys you have to press and such, or whatever. Or you could just disable the movement script completely. That might actually be better. I don't know if I were to disable the click to move script for the player, if the audio would get screwed up or anything along those lines. I can try out some different things, but that's a basic way to set up a respawn system if you're trying to do that. This is more of just going over some of the stuff we already learned, and this is kind of a more newbie tutorial on how to do that type of stuff. So yeah, was just going over the basics. Hopefully this helped some other people out. I'm going to try creating some more advanced tutorials soon here. I know they've been kind of lacking a little bit, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure a couple things out for the game that I want to add in. So I might be doing a new kind of item pickup that displays like random stats for maybe armor and different stuff like that that you can add. And yeah, I've gotten a couple other requests for some stuff. I might do a simple mount system so that you can summon a mount and move like twice as fast. Maybe have a cast time for that mount to like the wait time for summoning the mount and different stuff like that. So expect some more advanced tutorials for the future. I'll try getting a couple more things done, like enemy selection fixed and all that. So I just wanted to update you guys on all that stuff. So keep checking back at my channel, and those should be up rather soon here. I'm still releasing about one tutorial per day, but some days I might release a little bit more. So yep,